welcome back to the Henshin Hangout. I am joined by Darrel over here.
What's up?
What is up, Darrel? How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
That's pretty good. Now, we do have some Power Ranger news to start out with. Well, I guess it's not
Really Power Rangers.
That was a
Henshin.
Pronunciation on
It's
my part.
Henshin news.
It's Henshin Ranger news.
So
Darrel, give us a little backstory on what's
So
happening.
everyone that is following Kamen Rider, we got a special poster recently about the finale crossover movie between Kamen Rider Build and Kamen Rider X-Aid. For you, Kamen Rider is a sister show to Power Rangers.
Now, I do remember that because they had that little cameo in this season, which I loved. I loved that.
X-Aid, I'm not a huge fan of. Build, though, looks great. Hasn't premiered yet, but it will, I think, in like 3 weeks or something like that by the time this airs, 2-3 weeks. But we're supposed to get this, and it's supposed to mark the end of the Heisei era. So Heisei is just this, it was this long period of time where it's like, that's their classification.
Yeah.
So they have the Showa era, the Heisei era, and this is supposed to be marking the end of the Heisei era.
So now, does that mean that this will be a segue into the Build series? Or...
I think so.
Okay, so this will start and then Build becomes...
Because a lot of the crossover movies for Kamen Rider, either this movie is a cameo for Build, so like, oh hey, this is what's going to happen in Build, or this is going to happen halfway through the season and then have this crossover.
Okay.
It's one of the two. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm sure as like more trailers and stuff comes out, we'll find out.
Now, you said that you weren't really a fan of X-Aid, but is this something you're gonna watch?
Build looks like something that I would really enjoy. The suit looks good. The story conceptually sounds good. The thing I don't like about X-Aid is that even though the story, from what I understand, is very, very good, I can't get past the aesthetics.
Yes.
Everything in Build, though, looks great, and the story sounds great, so hopefully it holds up. So...
Well, based on the poster, it looks really cool. I'm excited. I cannot wait to check it out. But it looked like, so when X-Aid made a little cameo in the Kyurangers,
yes,
he was at first kind of like a little cartoony stubby character, and then he transformed into like a person.
Because he's a video game character.
He is a video game character.
Yes.
Now, in his series, does he actually take that form, or was that something special for Power?
No,
sorry,
that
Kyurangers.
Kyuranger.
No, I keep saying Power
no.
Rangers.
That's a form that he that's regular in throughout the series. That's his level 1 form. And so when he goes up to level 2, that's when he like transforms and turns into like the title card character.
And level 1 is what we saw on the poster. And Build looks legit. He's got like the red and blue.
He looks great.
It looks really cool. So I'm stoked.
It looks so good.
I'd be willing to check it out. Now, moving on to the reason why we are doing this, back to the Kyurangers. We are discussing episode 22, The Legendary Savior's True Character, as well as episode 23, Become My Shield! So, we jumped into this right after finding out there was a comatose body on the Argo ship.
So we get our first look at Otsugi Tsurugi, I believe is his name. Ho-Oh Soldier, another Red Ranger and the newest addition to the Kyuranger team.
Another Red Ranger. Or Soldier. Are they called Rangers on the Sentai version? Or no, never.
Senshi. Senshi meaning warrior, technically.
Senshi. So another Red Senshi.
Or Savior.
I can do Ranger? Okay.
Just do Ranger. That's the general consensus.
Don't hate me, guys, for saying Ranger.
That kind of became the norm after Gokaiger. Everyone, like, all the keys that they had, they were called Ranger keys. And so it just became the norm, just call them Rangers. So I talked about this last week with Daniel. What are your thoughts of this new guy, though?
He's kind of a jerk. He's really full of himself and doesn't care about others.
I don't like him.
I don't like him either. And it kind of is a bummer that they're bringing in another Red Ranger. I wish that maybe he was like a different color or something. Right. I don't know. But I guess since he's claiming to be the leader of his original group.
Yes.
That he would be the Red Ranger.
Mm-hmm. He did have a group, but that comes on later. We'll get to that, definitely.
Yes.
One of the concerns Daniel and I had were like, we had this really serious arc between Scorpio and Stinger and everything, and then we have this, and then we have Ho-Oh Soldier come up. It's like, I'm a legend.
Holy moly!
And it's just like, all right, I get it, but I'm laughing more than I feel like, oh wow, this guy actually is a legend. Are we going to lose that seriousness that has kind of just built up?
Yes. I mean, at first, when we first see him, we're not sure what he's saying is real or if he's like making it up. And so, like in episode 22, we kind of have to figure out who this guy is. Nope, no one really believes him.
No.
He has like the Q globe, and he's like, "I've got the first one."
I was the first person to ever discover a Q-Tama. I'm the leader. I'm a. If you're the ultimate saviors, I'm the legendary savior. It's
He's
just
full of himself.
It's super full of himself. You understand why later, but it's still. Well, one of the things that I really enjoyed about his character, though, is that even in Super Sentai, each character will have their own little quirk, and this character is very full of himself, and there's a story reason behind it. I don't like the reason,
yes,
but it's a reason, and normally you just like kind of have to accept it. So after we find out he's the only one, the first one to discover this.
My favorite moment of this episode actually happened in the very beginning, and it was Naga, the White Ranger.
Silver.
Thank you. Where is my mind today? Where is my mind? But
in space.
The new Red Ranger comes in, and everyone's like, "Who are you? Where'd you come from? What is this?" And then he says something, and Naga's like, "That answers none of our questions."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is great." I love how he is still learning.
And he did this with like an angry expression too.
But it was like kind of excited. He's like, "That answers none of our questions," and I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Makes the space, yeah.
So that was great. I love that. I just want to point that out before we dive deeper into this episode.
No, it's fine. Because right immediately after that, that's when he tells Sho Lumpo and like everyone else on the crew is like, I work alone basically. All of you are gonna get in my way, but I need assistance. So Sho Lumpo assigns Raptor and Spada to him as the beautiful assistant and the chef.
And I liked that because Raptor is getting back to her true self. She has that scene where she's like, "The beautiful assistant, could it be me?"
And then she has that like bubble
in like a suit, and she's just like, "Oh yes, I'm an assistant." And it was cute.
It was kind of adorable. We talked about this. We still don't like Raptor's like overall appearance.
I'm not a fan of her appearance,
but it's her personality that really sells it. Like, oh, you're cute.
And one thing I want to point out was that in this episode particularly, they really did a good job showing her personality more than they have in the past. So I noticed, like, even in the Ranger suit, she had her like legs kind of like turned in how she usually stands, which I don't think they show that as much in the past.
It's very princessy.
It's very princessy, but they really, like, her Ranger character really kind of showed off her character more than I've seen.
Right.
And I loved it. And I liked seeing, because Raptor represents the dreamer, and we're seeing her dream again, and it's bringing back her true character.
Mm-hmm. And then we already have a big base on Spada. We already know he's very, like, heart. Everything is about heart. What's right? What's white? You haven't said right. What's right? What's wrong? And so, getting to see more of that throughout this episode and the next episode is very nice to see that built upon.
Yes.
So we learn that about the Q-Tama and how apparently this Q-Tama grants him immortality. Mm-hmm. So he's calling himself the Immortal, but no one seems to remember who he is, and so
he's upset too.
Yes.
He's like not happy about that.
Mm-hmm. So they break into a news station. They basically break in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Otsugu Tsurugi." I'm butchering his name. I'm sorry, guys.
It's better than I can do.
Yeah, and so it's like, I'm the ultimate savior. And that's it. And they use that as bait.
And he keeps saying, like, I'm the only one who's defeated Don Armage.
Armage,
thank you.
Armage.
Armage, and I was like, that's not right.
Armage. Don Armage.
But he keeps claiming that he's defeated him, and they're like, well, how do you know
I killed him with my own hands.
Yeah.
That's his exact quote.
So he has to tell everyone on TV.
Yeah, and so it was just,
That he's that great.
If he's still... we forgot to mention that, actually. On the ship... before he gets assigned assistance, we get the whole, hey, who's the current leader of Jark Matter? So we know now that like he tried to kill Don Armage. As far as he knows, dead. And so he comes back to life, and Don Armage is still around, walking and talking and ruling the empire.
Yeah.
So now that he knows that Don Armage is still around, he has to put in the effort to try and kill him again. Because he knows that he killed him with his own 2 hands.
Yes. And he's just so cocky with it where I don't know, am I allowed to say that word? He's very,
Yeah.
He's a jerk.
It's
There's no other nicer way to put it, because he's full of himself.
He's just very full of himself.
And we learned that more, and I'm pretty sure it was this episode, it was this one or the next one, but I didn't like how when Raptor and Spada were actually fighting alongside him, he's like, wait, you guys can't do this. You're a chef. You can't be and I'm
that
like,
made me
mad.
mad.
So he can't be a chef and be a Sentai Ranger? Like,
you can't be a warrior, you can't be a fighter, you can't...
He could be both.
No, apparently you can't, according to him.
Yeah,
You are only assistants. Which makes me wonder what his original squad, his team was like.
Yes. But there was one moment that I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Was when Raptor, Spada, and the new Red Ranger, until he gets like a ranger name, I'm not going to pronounce his name, unfortunately.
Ho-Oh Soldier.
Ho-Oh? Ho-Oh?
So, like,
did they say that in the episode? Because I was waiting for them to announce his name, and I was like, when I'm not saying his name.
Ho-Oh. So think Ho-Oh from Pokemon. Ho-Oh Soldier.
Ho-Oh Soldier.
Yeah.
Ho-Oh Soldier.
Because Ho-Oh in Japanese means phoenix.
Oh, then he was the Phoenix.
Yes,
I remember, because everything was Phoenix. And he's got a pretty legit Q...
The shield?
The shield thingy.
Come on the go!
That's like an
Change.
But back to the moment that I really liked the most of this episode, other than Naga in the beginning, was when Spada and Raptor and Ho-Oh,
like the Pokemon. Ho-Oh, like the Pokemon.
Like Ho-Ho's, no.
Ho-Ho's. No ho
That
here.
dude, how they all teamed up and they did like the star battle change. What's it called? When they do the group, they do it every time.
The morph?
Not the morph. I'm so
All-Star
bad with all
Crash?
these. All-Star Crash.
Okay. Like,
All-Star Crash. Because also, my version of subtitles, I watch it on Kaseijin.
Yeah.
And the subtitles sometimes are not right. So I was like, I don't know if this is actually
I watch it on TV Nihon, but everyone has their preference.
But their fusion together and all of their like characters coming out in like the battle star change.
Oh, yeah.
Or battle, what was it called again?
The All-Star Crash?
All-Star Crash. Why do I keep forgetting that?
All-Star Crash!
It was cool. It was a legit scene where it was kind of like flying by him. I loved it. It was so
all
great.
the cinematics and the camera angles in
so
this show is just so good. I love this.
But I mean, we've seen the All-Star Crash before, and it wasn't like as impressive until like they included the Phoenix and then like Raptor's bird and then Spada's fish. Like it was
was really cool.
It was legit.
I loved all of that.
That was like definitely my favorite scene. But the other Rangers come to their aid because they're like, oh well, what about the civilians in that the studio, the network studio, and they're like, we gotta go save them. Like, how can they be so inconsiderate?
Right.
And they battle alongside him, and this guy's like, stay out of my way. Like, you guys just don't fight. I fight like that. I work alone.
Just me, not you, me.
I'm pretty sure he said I work alone at some point, didn't he? Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, I think so. He's the lone
He's a tricky
Phoenix.
one. He's a tricky one. But I don't think it was this episode. Or if it's the next one, but did Raptor get hurt in this episode?
No, it was the next one.
It was the next one?
It was the next one.
But I remember something happening where they were really upset with him. It's probably the fact that he
everyone was upset with
the
him.
Civilians
The
after the battle.
The thing I really like about these 2 episodes is that we really get to see Lucky kind of step into the leadership role.
Yes. He didn't really do that before.
Because every other time it was just like, I'm Lucky and everyone just follow me because reasons.
Because I'm Lucky.
Yeah, and there was no other really... but now we get to see how passionate like Lucky really is about trying to save the galaxy, which is such a strange change. It's not completely out of character, but it's a nice change because it's like, now I care about the Kyurangers.
Yeah.
This is something that I really want to save. And like, now that this guy is like, we don't even need you anymore. What do you mean you don't need us? What? And so we try to figure out why no one remembers who Ho Phoenix is. And that's because there's a Jark Matter college.
College, once again, they have college. Why does the Jark Matter side have everything? This is weird.
College.
They're weird.
Anyway, so...
How'd you feel about that moment where Spada actually kind of cared for Raptor? He was getting a little jealous there. Remember? Did you notice that? It was kind of cute.
It was adorable.
So, Ho-Oh.
Ho-Oh, yes.
Good, I got it right.
She got it.
So
Woo!
Ho-Oh was like kind
Hashtag
of
Ho-Oh.
listen. He got really close to Raptor, and she's just like, "No, what? Like, what are you doing?"
Anime trope.
Yeah, anime trope.
And
he's basically listening because there's like something wrong with her ticking, I guess.
Yeah.
Something internal is wrong with her.
So we also realized after that scene when he's fixing her that he had essentially built the original model for Raptor.
Yes.
Only Raptor is not a combat model like the one that he built.
Yes.
So that's why he's basically saying, stay out of my way. You're just gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
And he's arrogant, but he's caring, and it's still kind of like.
I wouldn't say caring though. I guess maybe he was like,
weird.
"Why aren't you working properly?" kind of thing.
Why aren't you doing your job?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really him caring, and I don't know the word I want, but it's just like, just stay out of my way.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is basically the whole vibe we've gotten from him this whole time.
yeah.
And he sucks.
I'm glad though.
I think eventually his character will come to some point of realization, and we will like him. I think it's just this moment. He's arrogant, and we see that, and none of us are supposed to like him.
Right.
Until he, grows as a person.
So what happens in this episode? So
I was trying to forget the ending, and then I got mixed up with Raptor getting hurt, which is the next episode.
There's so much that happens in these two episodes, and it just.
But they're also very similar.
They're very connected, which is why it's good that we're talking about them at the same time.
Yes.
I believe they all kind of get together and they destroy the college professor.
That's right,
thing.
the one that was making it so all of Spada's attacks hit Ho-Oh instead.
Yes. But then out of trying to prove himself, Spada and Raptor help Otsugu, Ho-Oh soldier. They help Ho-Oh beat him while attacking each other and turning the tables. And it was this really cool fight sequence.
Since he could only fight, or if he could only hit Ho-Oh, he kind of used that to miss him and then hit the guy.
It was really smart, and it was
smart.
It was a really great choreographed scene. I like that. Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't Ho-Oh fighting the bad guy himself. They kind of worked together so that they could all fight him, which is a step in the right direction. But he still was we later learned that he doesn't really care about the civilians.
Yes, that's a big thing. And I'm a little confused about it. Anyway, so we have our first look at his Voyager, his mech. But it comes in 3 parts. So the Argo ship, he's like, remember your question at the beginning of this episode? What does the Argo ship do? Let me answer that really quick. So he summons the Argo ship, and the Argo ship splits up into 3 Q Voyagers.
Which is what they had to find. Well, they had to find
all 3 of them in order to summon the Argo ship. And now that the Argo ship is there, they can split it up and turn it into 1, a spaceship, 2, a launch pad, and 3, a satellite.
Which is kind of cool.
It's cool.
I liked it. I like that part.
My issue is that everything in this season so far has been logically. I'm okay with it. Things don't take too much time. They just kind of jump into the morph.
This one took a long time.
This one is all right.
It was a good 2 minutes.
Here's a launch pad.
And then he was in space, and all of a sudden, bam! He was back on Earth, and I'm like, wait a second, where'd he come from?
And then the satellite, and then jumps back down to Earth.
No, it was the satellite, and then it morphed into the space station, right? What?
Oh yeah, the mountain split apart for the launch pad.
Oh,
this mountain just happened to have a line through it, and just.
That's just our Ninja Steel, where when the guy's car comes, road flips over. What about the cars that were just there? Are they trapped in the Earth now?
It's Ranger logic, but it's also the fact that
Ranger logic.
It's
hashtag Ranger logic, guys.
I hate that. So the thing with the original Voyagers, I understand it because they open up from the ship and they all fly out, they connect, and boom, done. But this thing has to summon a whole launch pad. I
thought it was cool, but I kind of wished it was not for him. I kind of wanted it one of our Kyurangers to have it, not the guy who's kind of a jerk. I'm like, fine, he gets everything then, whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't even need it. The previous episode, did you watch the previous episode?
I think I might have missed the previous one.
The previous episode, he jumps around by himself, no Zord, and he destroys a legion of ships, just stabbing a sword into it.
So
and
you're the new Green Ranger. Awesome.
What was the point of giving him a Voyager?
Yeah.
There's no reason for it. he can do it all on his own, and I don't, whatever. Anyway, it's a cool little like fight sequence. We get to see it in action, and then
he just gets everything. That's what.
That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
The episode ends. However, Spada and Raptor are still in his care.
They're still with him, and they're with him for a while.
Yes. And now we're getting into the next episode where we finally get to learn like more about him.
So in the next episode, Balance and the bull guy, why am I blanking? Champ, thank you.
There we go.
Nobody, but that's all right.
I was about to say, but you said it before I could.
Balance and Champ go back to the land of forests, or the land. It was another long episode title, which I can't remember. But
anyway,
was
they meet Eris again.
Eris again. Thank you.
Yes.
And they ask her, like, tell us about this guy. What's going on? We need some stories. And she's like, no, I only speak to Lucky. And it was just like, girl, the world's in danger. You could sacrifice.
The galaxy's in danger.
The galaxy's in danger. But no.
And then you see the slap mark. Oh man, I think that made me laugh more because of the fact that Balance is a robot technically.
Yeah,
he's a mechanical life form, and the fact that this slap mark appears on him is just dang.
But it kind of ties into when Naga got punched and Eris got slapped, and they looked like cold sores. I'm like, this is a very strange. Is that a common look for
Ranger
bruised
logic?
faces? Is that Ranger logic,
Ranger
or is
logic.
this like a Japanese bruise, like that they do in shows?
I've seen it before in other Super Sentai and other Japanese shows.
Japanese
that I've
shows.
seen.
Okay, so when they get bruised, bruise is there.
Like.
It looked.
Japanese makeup has a strange track record because
It looked
sometimes
like a
it'll
cold
look
sore.
good and
It legit
sometimes
looked like a cold sore.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that Balance actually has like a slap mark instead of
a cold
like,
sore,
a robot,
a random
really.
like mechanical cold sore.
But I mean, if it makes sense there, then that's fine. I'm cool with it.
Whatevs.
But at first, when I first saw Naga get punched in the head, I'm like, what is on his mouth? I was like really confused.
Cold
but then,
sores.
like when I kept seeing it later. It continued the trend. But they are struggling getting Eris to help them.
Right.
Because all she cares about is Lucky. Now she's like in love with Lucky. Screw Spada. He's old.
We don't need him anymore.
And they basically they're kind of following Ho-Oh around.
Yeah. Like, they really don't have a choice because it's under Sholompo's orders.
Yes.
And so it's like, just follow him around and make sure he doesn't get into too much trouble.
Yes. So basically, they're in charge of kind of watching him, and they're realizing he's kind of reckless. I don't know what situation he got himself into this time where he was endangering the civilians.
I'm trying to think of that too.
I'm trying to think of it too, but I do remember that he put the civilians in danger, and
Lucky was not happy.
Lucky was not happy, so they get to this discussion, and it was a pretty serious discussion where he's like, small sacrifices have to be made to save like more people. Like, I'm willing to sacrifice a small bit so we can save all these people over
Wait, was
here.
the TV station episode this episode?
No, I think that was the last episode. That was the 22. 23 was not the TV station, was it? We are getting our episodes mixed up, but that's okay because this is review of the two in general.
It's literally
review of the two in general.
like these two episodes are just.
They were
it's
similar.
literally one big episode.
They were so similar.
I think I think the last episode was just the college thing, and this one is the TV episode.
Which they did. They ended up finding in either the last one or this one the institute he was talking about. Like, his name was on the wall.
Yes.
Remember she moved
Oh,
the
that's
vines?
right.
Tammy
Yeah.
moved the vines, and they're like, oh wow, what's this? It was all grown over.
So it's proven just by his name alone, he is a legend.
He existed.
Yes, he was a person. Oh, we have a date, 300 years.
Yes.
That's how long he's been in a stasis.
Yes.
Throughout this episode, we just see him being cocky and like Lucky just losing it, and then
Yeah, they had that conversation, and the Lucky was not having it. He's like, no, we gotta save everybody. You can't just like put these people in danger because it helps out your mission.
And then Ho-Oh gives us Tsurugi, whatever his name is. He gives us a very good point, and we hear it a lot in like a lot of media. It's like, I will put the needs of the many over the needs of the few. And while it's understandable, it's just they're right there. I mean, why save them? And so in the struggle, Raptor gets hit.
She does. I remember that happening.
And it was a very interesting hit. Like,
it was like a ball and chain kind of thing.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
what made me kind of like, what? Did the blast go through the suit to her? Or is that just what happens when the suit gets really damaged? Like, do we see like the mechanics of the suit?
I think it went through to her because later on we see her sitting and she's in her
Right.
normal form, her original form, and she has that hole in her.
Right.
So I think it went through the suit, or like you said, whatever happens to the suit happens to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a good question.
Yeah, it was just one of
Now
those
that
things.
I think
about it is like, because it's spandex, but in this universe, it's a very like technological spandex.
Yeah.
So did they just like strip away the spandex and reveal the inner workings of the suit, or did it hit Raptor?
I'm gonna say my guess is that it revealed the inner workings of her character, not necessarily the suit, because I think that I don't think that when she so her form changes when she becomes the Sentai Ranger.
She loses a lot of weight.
She loses a lot and shape. She gets rid of the weird pigtails that I do not like. They're weird.
The pigtail bra.
Yeah, the pigtail bra. I'm not a fan. And she changes shape, just like Chimp does, just like Zhao Longbo. I keep saying it wrong. Shou Longpo. And
it's okay. Your pronunciation is as bad as Jasmine's.
It's all right.
Yeah, I said it.
I deal with
I'm
it.
kidding.
But it's still them. I still think it's them, but they've like taken on a new form.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that it's the inside of the suit. I think I think that it's her. That it's
right.
So that's my guess.
I was thinking that too. I was like, it's just one of those things.
Ranger logic.
Yeah. Ranger logic. It's just one of the things you just have to kind of accept.
And then friggin' Ho-Oh has the magical pen like Doctor Who, and he comes along and he's like, boop, 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 boop. And
you're fixed now.
Healed.
Yeah.
He just magically appears. I'm like, cool, you could have saved a lot of lives with that. Wonderful. Wonderful patent that you kept hidden from us. But I was strange. I was surprised that Raptor stuck with Ho-Oh even after getting hurt. She's still with him. And so is Spada.
And it's one of those things that I'm not sure if she's sticking with him under Shou Longpo's orders or if it's under her delusions. It's like,
I think that it's part of her dream. Like she's fulfilling a dream of hers to do
to be the beautiful assistant.
Yes, to be the beautiful assistant, but also more. I think there's like more
to be a savior and recognized by him.
Yes,
and that's very interesting because during this episode we finally get to see Eris again, and this time she talks to Lucky.
Yeah, and I love how the video feed jumps over to Lucky and he's like, "Whoa,
whoa!"
Yeah,
and so we get the backstory. As this is happening, we are getting a backstory from Tsurugi himself to Raptor and Spada.
Yeah.
So here's the gist of it. Out of the 88 constellations, Homeboy has one person from each constellation, and they're all amassed together. So the reason why he told Lucky and everyone to be a shield is because that's what they would do. He had a guy that lost his ability to walk. He had a guy that just straight up died.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm the only one that has the ability to win this war, and so all of you have to be my shield for it. Lucky is still not happy with this.
No, he's still not happy with it.
And so it's just now we know why he is the way he is.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe this team, the team that we are familiar with, might be the one to kind of like make him see things differently.
Right.
And we also kind of learn what happened to Raptor's uncle. His name I cannot
Orion.
recall. Orion, thank you.
Yeah.
That's his ship. And he they gave us a story where he also sacrificed himself in order to put the immortal Ho-Oh in like a coma.
So here's the thing that
sleep.
This episode made more questions for me than it answered. For the reason that he said that the Phoenix Kyutama gave him the power of immortality. Now, do the rest of the Kyutamas have said hidden traits?
Oh, you're probably right, related, because the Phoenix is an immortal bird. So I think that's why that's related. But I think that it's the same as how Raptor's character can make her fly. Like, we've kind of seen it. I don't think they're necessarily hidden. But I think that it's just part of that character, and that's what he gets. But I don't think we're gonna see more from anyone else.
Well, the thing we also learn is that he is no longer immortal because he gave up his immortality in one final suicide kamikaze attack, which didn't really kill him, but that's what put him into the coma. So as far as he knows,
I thought it was Orion that had put him into coma in order to save him.
That's what I mean. So as far as he knows, he had killed Don Armage in this attack.
But he didn't kill him.
But he didn't because he was already like super damaged and then put into a comatose cryo state.
He's not the only one that can defeat Don Armage.
Yeah. So That's a thing. So he's no longer immortal. Now he has to finish the fight that he left behind. My question also is another question that arose is like, okay, he had 88 followers, shields. Where do the rest of the Kyurangers come in?
Yeah.
Like, why are these guys the saviors of the galaxy when really it was him, this one lone Kyuranger, that saved the galaxy?
Yeah.
So I want to know more questions.
Well, that was pretty much it for this episode.
Oh,
I mean, ended with Raptor and Spada staying with
them and making curry and stuff. But before that, we had our first Voyager mecha fight.
That's
with
right, with all three of
them.
That's where the three came in.
That's where,
okay.
That was a lit fight.
That was a lit fight.
I like that one.
Can't believe I almost passed over that. Thank you, Darrel, for saving it.
No, yeah, I got you. I'm a
But that
ultimate savior.
That was pretty legit. I do like, so, I was trying to think back, so I noticed that they had the two mechas, the two Megazords.
Kyuren-O, Ryuten-O, and then
because
Giganto
they
Ho-Oh.
need to have all of the two of our Sentai. Screw Oho and his special
Screw that
robot,
guy.
you selfish person. So the two fighting together so that all the Rangers could be in the fight.
Yes.
Has that happened before?
Yeah, it has. The only thing is we're only missing Stinger, and we're missing who else wasn't in that fight? I think we were missing Champ and Balance.
Yeah, because they were still
they
didn't come
off-world.
back until the very end.
Yeah.
But I do like that they have the two figures that can help more than just five fight. Like more people can be a part of it.
Right.
And then Special Boy over here comes along.
Special
with
Boy.
his robot.
Special Fly Boy.
I'm just jealous. That's all.
I'm just mad. I really want to like his character, but if he keeps doing the legend thing,
I'm pretty confident it's going to change. I'm pretty confident that they are going to give his character some growth, something to learn.
He did show a little growth during this episode. When he and Lucky kind of fight together, he's like, "All right, show me what you've got," and then he does the whole teleporting.
Well, he kind of accepted the fact that they're also
fighting
Kyurangers,
yes.
and that they can join the fight. And but I think in the end, how it ended, him and Spada and Raptor, I don't think that he.
There was a sense of acceptance, but it wasn't like, I'm not fully on board with you yet. Like even during the mech fight when they all line up together, and he's like, "Oh wow, this is really legendary!"
Yeah.
Like, okay, well at least he kind of acknowledges that. He's
being together.
He's acknowledging
I agree with that.
but he's not accepting them.
No.
He still wants them to be the shields, but he's not.
Yeah.
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 That's this guy.
But it was a pretty legendary fight. I was happy with it. I'm not sure where we're gonna go next. They didn't really give us that idea, but I did like another favorite point of. I like the comedic little spots added in here and there.
Yes.
And at the end of this one, Balance comes back and he's like, "We're back. We saved the day. Somebody praise me." And I was just like, he just
and he goes in
like, "Good boy, good boy, good boy." And I was just like, that is so cute. It was so cute. I was just like, "Praise me. I did a good job."
I'm a cat.
Yeah.
Pet me. That was so funny.
That was funny. I enjoyed that part. And now they're all back together. One thing I'm a little disappointed with is that we don't really get to see much of the kid. He's kind of thrown in there ever since he was introduced. He's
Kotaro,
He's kind of just
he had a bigger part. You missed it.
When he first joined the group, but as a part of the group, he's not really there.
You missed it though. There was an episode where he puts in work.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of work. And so I noticed that actually.
I'm glad he's getting some screen time.
Yeah, I'm
Poor
like.
child.
I noticed that especially in these two episodes is like, okay, we just had like the big Stinger, Kotaro, like all Champ arc, and these guys aren't getting as much screen time now that their little arc is over, so they're giving it to like these guys now, which is, it's a nice change, but I wouldn't have sidelined them completely.
Yeah.
It's strange. Like there was even a shot when like Stinger is at the control board. He's like, "Hey, you have a something incoming, enemy incoming." It's like, why are you the one like giving the commands, from the Orion Go? It's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I do wish that from here on out they kind of throw him in a little more. I do understand that it's probably going to be a Lucky Ho-Oh
rivalry
happening here. Do you think that it's gonna be something where Ho-Oh, since there's 2 Red Rangers now, do you think that he's gonna the Phoenix Ranger's gonna leave and then come back, kind of like the Green Ranger did and became like the White Ranger?
I don't think so. I think what's going to happen, if I had to take a guess, because there's still this whole plot line behind Lucky that we don't understand, and so my guess is that something's gonna happen throughout the season. Lucky's going to lose his powers, and he's gonna go through this thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Ho-Oh will take over, and it'll be like, okay, now all of you are my shields.
But he's lucky. You think he's gonna lose his powers? He's so lucky that I feel like nothing bad happens.
That's
to
what
him.
I mean. I feel like that's gonna hit him again. I feel like it might.
Because
And
he
then
did have that one unlucky. No, he didn't. Did he ever have that? That was
an episode.
That was
2 episodes, I think.
Why am I blanking on his name? Garu. Garu had the unlucky day.
No, it was.
Lucky had an unlucky day too? Alright. I think I remember that, but I'm getting all my episodes mixed up.
There's been a lot of episodes so far, so it's easy to get mixed up. But I think something's gonna happen with Lucky where he can't be a Kyuranger, and so he takes over. And that's what I mean. Like, it's weird having another Red introduced, because the last season that did that was Time Ranger or Time Force, and so they were both technically leaders. And so having this like concept again, it's like, what? Why?
So has this happened many times before where they have 2 Red Rangers in a season?
No. The last.
I thought you said there was one where there's a girl Red Ranger. That
Yes, there were actually, yes,
a little bit.
Shinkenger, where she was training to be Red. Okay. And the current Red was like just replacement, a stand-in until she was ready.
Yeah.
And so what happens by the time the season ends is that no one really respects her because they haven't followed her into battle as many times as the stand-in.
Jerks.
And so, but they still followed her into battle because, oh, she's our leader. We're fighting the good fight. Understandable, but we don't like you.
Yeah.
And so they switch out again, and then they, finale fight, blah, blah, blah. Super Sentai wins. But it's weird to have, like, another Red again, and that could mean so many things. Like, are you the replacement? Does something happen to this Red? Are you gonna compete for, like, leadership? There's so many questions.
There is. And I can see the speculation that you have where Lucky might fall and it has to look like the Phoenix is gonna have to take over. I can see that happening. Mm-hmm. So I do hope that it's kind of swapped a little more where the Phoenix Ranger falls and kind of learns his lesson, because I think he could take a few notches down.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm okay with where this series is going. I'm a little bummed, like you said before, where we had like the Stinger story.
We had this like seriousness about like the story, and it was like very
Stinger
nice
Scorpion.
to like. It was very nice to finally be on the edge of my seat, like, oh my god, what's actually happening? Who's gonna die next? Oh my gosh.
So this is kind of like a little bit of a downslope compared to that, but I still think that like.
But
we have
these are the introduction episodes, and so it's like, I'll give it a pass, but I don't like the character.
Yeah.
So by the end of this episode, what are your big questions? Like, what do you hope gets answered by the end?
What by the end of
just like or throughout the season? Yeah.
Well, I do want to know more about Orion and Raptor's relationship, because she called him uncle.
Yes.
And I'm curious as to know if Raptor was actually a person or if it's just her uncle because Orion created her, or no, it was the Phoenix had created her. Oho had created her, right? That's what he
created
said?
a previous
version
model of her.
But does that mean then Phoenix and Orion are brothers if he's the uncle? Like,
I think Orion was just a follower of a shield.
Well, I want to know how their relationship and how that works and how it's connected.
The thing that bringing that up is like, okay, so we thought Orion was just the name of the ship at first, okay, the Orion Go, and then later we hear his name again from Eris, and then again with him. So obviously he's turning into a bigger character than we're realizing.
And didn't we hear the ship like talk?
Did it?
Did it not talk when Raptor, like, it made a noise or something? It's groan. A groan, like a groan. Like a... Yeah.
Huh.
It's like Raptor was sitting outside on it.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
like,
okay.
Like, yeah, uncle or something like that. And that's how
I remember that. So yeah, he's turning into a bigger character than I thought, and so I'm like, okay, I hope he falls into another Kyuranger slot. Yeah. Like, I think that'd be cool. Maybe he'll be white or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we'll actually have a white ranger so you can like...
Yeah. Instead of silver. I'll still get it mixed up. I know me.
But yeah, I want to know where the Kyurangers fall into like the history of the thing. I really like this history of the galaxy, and if he's the savior of the galaxy, why are these guys so praised?
So that's what you want to look.
That's
for.
what I
want to
know.
Answer.
Yeah. It's like if no one knew who they were before, why is the legend spread around? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So far, I like these episodes. What would you rate it?
I mean, they're great episodes, and I want to mark them down because of his personality.
I know,
but
he's the one that...
But they're still great episodes.
I liked the all the Megazords together. Are they called Megazords in the Sentai version?
Robos, Mechas.
Robos, Mechas. I liked the group. I liked that one all-star change. Did I say
Crash.
that right? Crash. Dang it. I was close.
It's okay.
The all-star crash scene in the episode 22. I really liked that. So action-wise, I thought it was good. Character-wise, that guy could be brought down a notch.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate them, both of them, probably 4.5. I'm only marking it down because of his attitude. It's just I really don't like the character, and I feel like that personality could have stayed, but I feel like they could have executed it better.
I would go with a 4, also because these episodes kind of seemed like they could have been one episode a little bit. They were kind of very similar in story.
Yes.
So
they were so similar that we don't even know the flow of it. Yeah.
It didn't have two distinct stories where like that one they were on that planet trying to talk to Eris, and then the next one they were like somewhere else.
Yeah.
But 4, I enjoyed it. And I do believe we have our comments to read. Would you want to go first, or do you want me to do this first?
Whatever you want. It's up to you.
I'll read it. I think you read the long one last time, so I'm gonna read the long one this time. This one's from Disney's Magic 92. Welcome. I believe you are somewhat new to our comments because I don't think we've read a Disney Magic 92 before, have we?
I don't think so.
Welcome. They say, Common Writer. I'd probably recommend Den-O first.
Yes.
I just love the imagine and the humor.
Yes.
I personally thought the time traveling got a little iffy at the end. I basically loved majority of the post-Decade series a lot more than the pre-Decade series. Ultraman. Mebius was my first Ultraman series, and I thought it was a good entry point. It was also an anniversary series that had a couple returning actors, but we were given information and little history tidbits at the beginning of the episode, so it didn't necessarily feel left out. Garo. Far more adult-oriented, but I like the secret society of people protecting humanity from monsters concept, and I love the lore of this world.
It's probably world.
Regular seasons are about 25 episodes, which is a nice contrast that you get with the 50-ish episodes you get with Sentai normally. True. And Savior in the Dark by Jam Project, or is it J-A-M?
Jam Project.
Jam Project is probably one of my favorite Toku themes ever!
Okay, so now that you're reading this, let me reiterate what happened last time. Last time, I asked everyone to leave comments on because Daniel was really getting into Kyuranger.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, suggest...
Good. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's like suggest, other Toku series that would you think he would like based off of that. And so that's what that is. I like all of these recommendations, actually. Kamen Rider, it's great. Yeah. Den-O is my favorite Kamen Rider of all time, and he's such a good... There's so much time travel and stuff like that. One of my friends also doesn't like... he's not a huge fan of the Toku world, but I had him you need to watch this.
Yeah.
You need to watch this. And he was like, all right, begrudgingly watched it. And I remember there was a day when I was sitting at home, and he had a key to my apartment, and he came in, and he's like, oh my god, at the end of the series, I knew it, and he's just screaming. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Comes in out of nowhere.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool things. Ultraman is one of it's the longest running television show next to Doctor Who.
Really?
Yeah. I think it has the world record for that.
Wow.
It's a great show. It's just...
Do you know how many seasons?
50 something.
Oh, really?
It's been running for a really long time. And then Garo is a great series. It's super dark. There's an anime, actually. I think 2 animes, actually. But the problem I have with Garo is that the CG doesn't match the filming style. And so the CG looks very fake, and it's hard to get into. But the theme and whatever it is, oh man, this looks great.
Kind of like when you watch a sci-fi show and the story's kind of cool, and then some weird
something
creature,
happens,
and
you're just
it's really cheesy.
What? But they look great.
Yes.
They look fantastic. But then you'll have that, like, the CG kind of bring you out of it. Which is why I would probably suggest watching the anime, because at least it's consistent.
Yes.
Let's see.
To finish off Disney's Magic 92,
Yes.
I loved Gokaiger, but I found more appreciation for the returning Rangers after I had gone back and watched a good chunk of the seasons before finishing Gokaiger.
Gokaiger was great.
Awesome.
Edward Sanchez Productions. I'll do the next two because this one's short.
Perfect.
Edward Sanchez Productions. I love watching the Henshin Hangout.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you. Edward Sanchez approved.
Yes. This is a great show, and I'm so glad that you're watching it. Blackwing 2040. Ho-Oh Soldier is so freaking awesome! I'm loving Kyurangers so much right now. My favorite Rangers are Lucky and Stinger, and it's just awesome that we have a 12-Ranger team. Now, regarding that new Sentai leak, I don't believe it because we don't get the new Sentai announcement until late fall or in the winter, but I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Well, Blackwing's on the opposite spectrum of us.
Yeah.
Sorry, Blackwing. We thought he was a little much.
Yeah.
But we appreciate his enthusiasm.
Regarding the new Sentai leak, we usually get pictures like that around this time. Sometimes they end up becoming real, sometimes they don't. But most times they do, because it's like, oh, that's a pretty, like, legit looking picture. It's just someone, I guess someone in the studio was just kind of like, post, and just like, but so we have a leak for our new Super Sentai after Kyuranger already.
Now, do we know what it's going to be about?
Cars. As far as we know, its name is going to be Shinsa Sentai. There's no name, but Shinsa meaning new car.
Yeah.
So it starts off with 3 members and another 2 joining later.
So you think all of the Zords, do they have a term for that in the Sentai version?
It depends on the
what it is.
Yeah.
So for their Zords, you think it's all gonna be cars?
Yes. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be cars.
Okay.
The recurring theme that was leaked was it's going to be cars mixed with 3D technology, whatever that means.
Okay. All right.
So
I dig it. I think I'm into it.
okay.
Next comment, Ryan Super 04 Steel Speed Thomas.
Woo!
It got longer. Hey Daniel Jerome, you should check out, I believe it's Darrel, right? Oh no, Daniel Jerome. I keep mixing those up.
It's fine.
Daniel Jerome, you used his full name. That threw me off, but that is great. You should check out Kyurangers.
Kyurangers. Yeah, it was close enough.
Okay, good. And make sure you watch Gokaiger as well as watch Zooger. I am wrong on all accounts.
It's alright, it's Japanese.
If you want to. And check out
Go Sager.
if you like to. Great Henshin Hangout, guys. Daniel Jerome and Darrel J. Delphin. Look, we have both of the full names in there.
Woo!
I'm not going to stop watching you guys. # show never will. Still, I'm died. I don't know what happened.
I'm gonna keep watching until I die.
Okay,
probably.
that's perfect. We appreciate that. Thank you so much for being an awesome supporter of the show.
Yeah. Apollo Thunderflame. Keep in mind, designs aren't everything, especially for Kamen Rider. And you're totally right. It's just, it brings me out of it. Kamen Rider has a history of having bad suits and having great stories. So I should look past that, but it's just so bad. I'm sorry. It's just super close-minded of me, but I can't do it. Wizard and Ghost looked cool, but their shows were total garbage. Correct. Which is why I'm glad Gaim and Exade were as great as they are. And Kyuranger was really rough for the first several episodes. Kyuranger itself was really rough for the first several episodes. For recommendations, Car Ranger is hilarious, and Kamen Rider Forze because space!
So is Car Ranger like the new one?
Car Ranger is the Japanese version of Power Rangers Turbo.
Oh, like the, okay, all right.
That's one of the older series. Okay, so this Car Ranger is funny for the reason that, so Mighty Morphin, right?
Yeah.
And Zoo Ranger, the Mighty Morphin counterpart.
Yeah.
Zoo Ranger turned into, O Ranger, which was the equivalent to Power Ranger Zeo. Power Ranger Zeo saved Power Rangers because Power Rangers was about to die. Because it was so fresh, it was new, it was like the formulas, everything. O Ranger started, and it was so super serious, and it was so dark that it almost killed Super Sentai.
Yeah.
So by the time they got to the next season, Turbo and Car Ranger saved Super Sentai because it was so like happy and like jokey, and it was just stupid. And Turbo almost killed it because fan reception was awful.
Yeah.
So, Kamen Rider Forza is fantastic. It's one of my favorite seasons as well, next to Den-O.
You just don't like X8 very much.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Gaim, I will say though, Gaim looked great from the beginning. Gaim is a fruit ninja samurai looking thing.
Right.
It's great, and I love him, and he's so cool. But yeah, his story is great. Did you watch Madoka Magica?
Yes.
Same writer.
Okay, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
same writer.
I would like it.
Same writer as Psycho-Pass as well.
Okay.
Like he just has these like super dark stories. And
liked Psycho-Pass at first, and then we went and saw the movie, which was a fun event. And thank you, Funimation, for putting that on. You always put on such great events, and we enjoy going to them. But the movie itself, I was not a fan.
Really quick trivia thing.
Everyone fell asleep. Literally, we had like a team of like 12 people from #Go. And I think maybe 2 people were awake by the end of the movie.
Anime movies are hit or
I
miss.
never fall asleep in movies, ever. And I fell asleep. I don't know what happened. There was something a part of that movie that was like a freaking NyQuil that just
But
Funimation, we appreciate all the things you do. And
yes!
You're great.
I love you, Funimation.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
You should be watching. Anyway, really quick tidbit of like trivia. So, Kamen Rider Ryuki was also written by the same guy that did Kamen Rider Gaim, Madoka Magica, or whatever. But Kamen Rider Ryuki, like, I saw a thing. It's 1-for-1 exactly the same story. Only Kamen Rider Ryuki is 50 episodes. Madoka Magica is like 20 or something like that. But like the Yellow Rider and the yellow magical girl die because they get like eaten, and then the blue one get powers to save a significant other, but that significant other doesn't realize them, and then, so they go psycho insane. And then the red one doesn't want the powers. It's like 1-to-1, almost exactly the same story, which is interesting. So if you like Madoka Magica, Kamen Rider Ryuki.
Perfect.
And then is that
the next comment's from Tom Craven. Loving the doubling up on the reviews. #Team DJ. I'm also on Team DJ. I'm so sad he's not here.
Doubling up on the reviews is gonna be a little hard though, because now we're actually caught up.
Yeah. Well, next episode I think is our last double.
Yeah.
And then after that we'll be back to the singles because they don't come out fast enough.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll talk more. We'll find something to fill up time. We'll figure something out. Yeah. And then SJ Kingston. Sean Kingston? No, just kidding. Hey guys, I'm glad to prove you guys right. Stinger's actor did sing the whole thing and is absolutely gorgeous. So glad you like the episodes. Can't wait to see how you like Ho-Oh Soldier. Thanks for the post, guys. No, thank you for the post. Guys.
I hope that SJ Kingston isn't disappointed that we were not a fan of Ho-Oh, because it seems like everyone likes Ho-Oh Soldier a lot. And we just weren't. JD, did you like Ho-Oh Soldier? You liked him.
Power-wise,
we're on our own.
he's
me
cool.
and Daniel are on our own.
Power-wise, he's awesome.
I loved his stuff. He had the sickest shield ever with a cool ass sword and
I talked about this with Daniel.
Space station. He got his own freaking space station. It was awesome.
Like aesthetically, he doesn't make any sense to me.
He's just a jerk.
No, he has this sword and shield, okay, because he's like an ancient soldier. But then he has like this headset. And it's like,
yeah, I saw that. I was like,
what?
Is he a pop star? Like, what's going on?
What?
It's like Miley Cyrus.
You don't make... Who thought that was a good... Actually, I noticed this also. When they panned over his head when they first...
It looks like that
It's
thing.
this. It's literally... His head is a Q-tama. I think that's so great.
No, you point that out. That's so funny.
Yeah,
You're
because
right. His head is a Q-tama.
this is where the... And then that's the reason why his front is so glassy. Is because it's the front of a Q-tama. And then the headset is right here. And it travels...
Yeah.
I mean, great design, guys. But aesthetically, it doesn't work. I don't know. Whatever. He has cool powers. I just don't like him.
I like the Phoenix Ranger. I don't like... Urugo? What was his name?
Utsugu Tsurugi?
Get that. Itsugo
Tsurugi. That's probably not even his name. I just know there's like an O and a T. Whatever.
I'm terrible at pronouncing some English words, so when it comes to Japanese, I am...
He just premiered. I'll get it eventually.
Lost without a paddle.
So guys, please, thank you so much for these recommendations. Obviously, you guys know that Kelly isn't really into the Toka world like I am or DJ.
I'm a newbie to it.
Yes.
I am a newbie. I'm getting into it. I love your recommendations.
Yes.
I like learning about it. I want to know more about it.
You guys know her from all the other shows and the things that she likes, but she's new to this world. So based on what you know about Kelly, like video games and whatnot, what do you think would be a good start for her?
Yeah.
So please leave that in the comments below. What did you like about these 2 episodes, and what are your questions that you're really like kind of hoping for that get answered?
Yes.
And, oh, Kyurangers so good. Woo!
This was great. Basically wraps up our Henshin Hangout for today. We will see you guys next Friday. Darrel, where can everyone find you?
You can find me every Thursday. Well, not every Thursday, because sometimes things happen. Every Thursday on the Anime Super Chat, roughly 8 o'clock, and then Ranger Wrap Up. Well, except for.
Today we had a special
we had a special guest on Ranger Wrap Up
last Saturday. We had a separate guest.
So you won't sometimes, but that happens every Saturday.
Yeah.
And then on social media, you can find me on Darrel J Delphin, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just follow me there. Send me a comment, tweet at me, something, and yeah, let's talk. And then you
can find me on Tuesdays for Achievement Unlocked, which is our video game live stream. You can find me on Saturdays with the Ranger Wrap Up. We're back to Ninja Steel. Retro, but now it's back into Ninja Steel. And you can find me here on Fridays with the Henshin Hangout. Occasionally the newsfeed and other little tidbits here and there. Please check out one of our newest streams, Board Games of Thrones, which is every Sunday if you are a Game of Thrones fan.
Is that what we're calling it now? Board Games of Thrones?
Board Games of Thrones.
Huh.
Yes. That's our new little reality segment. And a lot of drama is happening. So if you like that drama, it's getting juicy. And you can find me on all social media at Cranky Cupcakes with the C at the end. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
Woo! Bye, guys!
Bye! Peace!